February had some hits and misses. Let's talk. Hi, I'm Alex, this is Pucksandpaperbacks, and today I'm sharing my February wrap-up. If you're new to my channel and my wrap-ups, I do not give books star ratings. I stopped doing it a couple years ago because it just didn't work for me. So now I just read and review, and I feel like my reviews are in-depth enough for you to know if I liked it or didn't. So without further ado, let's get into all of the books I read in February, starting with my stats. In February, I read 7 books, a total of 1,344 pages, and 28.6 hours of audio. This was a record-breaking February for me because usually I read under 4 books in February, so I was really impressed with myself that I was able to read 7. 6 of those books had queer rep. For genre, I read 3 romances, 1 literary fiction, 1 contemporary, 1 fantasy, and a memoir. For publication year, I read 2 2025 releases, 3 2023 releases, 1 2024 release, and 1 2020 release. 6 of these books were for videos. I put out 3 reading vlogs this month and 1 vlog for my Patreon, which was behind the scenes of how I film a reading vlog. It's up now on my Patreon for $10, or you can become a part of the Bookish bundle. For my reading challenges, I completed February's prompts for buzzword. February's buzzword for in the title was water, and I ended up reading A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. The cover challenge prompt was skyline, and I used When I Think of You by Myah Ariel. For read queerly, I completed the prompts new to you author, religious trauma, and sports. For Pop Sugar, I completed a plethora of challenges, including main character is a refugee or immigrant, a book set around a body of water, POC experiencing joy, a book that fills your favorite prompt from the 2015 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I used a book set somewhere you've always wanted to visit, and the book was set in Montreal. I've always wanted to go to Canada, so of course I had to use a book that was set there. A book containing magical creatures that aren't dragons, a book centering LGBTQ plus characters that isn't about coming out, and a book about a road trip. Now onto the books. The first 3 books were for Trope Taste Test this month. It is a series I started and revived this month, all about finding out which romance tropes I like, and this month I took on second chance romances. I'll link the vlog down below if you missed it. Unfortunately, I only came out of that vlog enjoying 1 book. The first book I read was Second Chances in New Port Stephen by TJ Alexander. This was my first time reading from this author. I loved this book. We're following Eli, who is a trans man approaching 40 who returns to his hometown of Newport Stephen, Florida for Christmas. When he's at the grocery store one night picking something up, he runs into Nick, his ex-boyfriend from high school. He and Nick hit it off and they start talking again and rekindle their relationship. I loved this so much. I say more in the vlog, but it was really light and I just really appreciated the trans joy and getting to see a messy trans man falling in love again. I loved this book so much and I highly recommend to check out that reading vlog because I share so much more. Next, I read When I Think of You by Myah Ariel. This second chance romance is between college exes who met in film school at NYU. I liked the concept of this book and how it talked about the racism Black folks endure in the film industry. The film industry setting was really fascinating and fun, but the execution of this book fell flat for me. I liked the writing and the characters, specifically Kalia and her roommate Nia. I loved their dynamic. However, the love interest just wasn't enough for me. There's just so much miscommunication and I felt like the end was rushed too much. I saw so much potential in this book, but like I said, the execution wasn't there. I really wish we would have had a dual POV and seeing Danny, our love interest, side of things because it's very one-sided, therefore you're really confused to what's actually going on. However, I will link down below some reviews from Black folks because my experience with this book is going to be different, and I don't want it to sway you away from this book since people did enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. And the last book I read for that vlog was so disappointing. I had high hopes for this because it was a hockey romance written by a fan, and I was so disappointed. This is Goaltender Interference by Baran, and I'm so sad that I didn't like this. It had me in the first half. I liked the writing, the hockey references were good, and I could tell that this person knew what they were doing. And also, I wanted to pick up more of the author's work because I think there is potential here, and this just wasn't the book for me. They had me in the first half. I was loving it, but the second half was so boring. There's just a lot of miscommunication, and I was screaming at the camera in my vlog. Like I said, I had high hopes for this because it's written by a fan, and I will say the hockey was written really well, the references, and honestly, in my hockey books, I just want more of the friend group and the teammates, and this was really focused on the romance, obviously, but this isn't going to deter me from reading more of the author's work. I want to read Game Misconduct next. This talks about real issues in the professional hockey league, specifically mental health, as one of the characters has depression. We talk a lot about mental health in this book, which I appreciated, but the lack of communication really bothered me. Next, I filmed a reading vlog where Instagram picked what I read through my feed and the Explore page. I also had my followers help me control what I did in the vlog, so that'll be linked down below. I also filmed a vlog for Patreon where I filmed the behind the scenes of how I filmed the vlog and just some content creation behind the scenes. So that'll be down below as well. I'm selling it on Patreon for $10, or you can become a part of the Bookish bundle for the same price. For that vlog, I read Hijab Butch Blues by Lamya H and Housemates by Emma Copley Eisenberg, narrated by Marin, Ireland. Hijab Butch Blues was so good. I tabbed it so much. My highlighter was probably begging me to stop using it because I highlighted the shit out of this book because it was phenomenal. This is beautifully written. It is a memoir following a queer Muslim hijabi immigrant. Lamya is non-binary, and throughout the book she shares chapters and verses of the Quran and connects them to queerness and being non-binary. I loved this so much that I can't even express the words. I don't really have a review for this. It was just so beautiful and I loved it a lot. I connected to it a lot as somebody who grew up in the Catholic Church as a kid, and not knowing I was queer until my adulthood. There were a lot of verses and passages that really spoke to me. But overall, this book is about creating a life for your younger self. Lamya at 14 ends up reading a chapter in the Quran and it speaks to her. It speaks to her as she sees queerness for the first time and connects it to herself. I don't know what else to tell you. I just think this was beautifully written and now one of my favorite books. I enjoyed the audiobook of Housemates. It's a literary fiction about queer artists set in Pennsylvania following two housemates, Leah and Bernie. They are artists. One is a photographer, the other is a writer, and they embark on a road trip through rural PA for their project Changing Pennsylvania. Besides the project, the road trip is really for Bernie to have closure with Daniel, her old boss, I guess. She worked for him as an assistant. He was a famous photographer. He ends up passing away and she learns a lot of shitty things he did. So she's learning to really have closure with what she thought she knew about this guy. So she gets a call being told that he is leaving his photography to her and all of his cameras. But she's like, fuck this guy. So she doesn't really want to go, but they end up going anyway and start to create this project, Changing Pennsylvania. I am from Northeast Philly, so this really spoke to me because I just love books that are set in Pennsylvania. And I appreciated that this was set in rural PA. It talks about the indigenous history as well as the Amish folks who live here, and really about the countryside as well as the queerness all around. I just really appreciated this book, and I'm glad I finally got around to it. You'll see this vlog on Thursday, but in case you missed it, I started a new vlog series where every month I read my arcs and I review them for you in a reading vlog and tell you if they're worth it or not. So the first book I started was B. Mullins Takes a Shot by Emily Deibert. This middle grade debut was one of my most anticipated releases, and it did not disappoint. I can't wait for you all to see the vlog because I was having a blast. As a huge hockey fan, I love books about hockey when they're written right, and Emily did a fantastic job with this. We're following B. Mullins, a 12-year-old girl who lives in Toronto, Canada. When she learns that the gym flooded at her school, terrified. B has not had a great experience with sports. She's tall, so she started basketball, but the teammates she had were the worst, and they made her feel really bad about herself. With some convincing, she and her best friend Celia join the girls' hockey team, where she meets Gabby, an 8th grader who teaches her how to play hockey and how to skate, and they start falling for each other. This was so cute. I loved it so much, and I literally devoured it. I thought Emily did a great job with this in terms of writing, because hockey can be complicated to write, so I really commend her. She did play women's hockey as a kid, similar to B, and she knows her stuff. I appreciated this because there might be a kid or a reader who doesn't know about hockey, and this is a great way to teach them. It also talks a lot about the disparities between men's and women's hockey, specifically facts about professional women's hockey, the PWHL, which is a new league that I have really been loving lately, and it talks about the underfunding, and we see that with B's team. So I really appreciated this book, and if you want to read about girls in sports, I highly recommend this book. And the last book I read was A Song Below Water by Bethany Morrow. I specifically read this for buzzwords since I needed a book with water in the title, so I had been wanting to read this because it came out in 2020, and I finally got around to it. I had some complicated feelings with this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. This YA was published in 2020, and it talks about the Black Lives Matter movement, racism, and police brutality following Tavia and Effie, who are sisters. Tavia is a siren, and in this world, only black girls and women can be sirens. But it's illegal to be a siren, and they're being taken and murdered. This talks about Say Her Name and murdered black women, and how they don't get the media attention as black men do. I appreciated the messages and the commentary because it's very important. I like that we got to see some fantastical elements. There's a gargoyle and obviously sirens. I thought it was well written. I liked the descriptions of the scales and things like that. I am a sucker for mermaids and sirens, so I appreciated that part of the book, but I could not get past the fact that Tavia fakes a disability to cover for being a siren. So since being a siren is illegal, she says she has a certain disability and uses ASL. I appreciated that ASL was incorporated. That's great to see, but I hated that she was faking a disability. Honestly, I kind of wish the author would have just added that into the sirens. Like, maybe there's a reason they can't speak and have some vocal problems is because of a disability. I would have rather had some decent disability rep instead of the character covering with a disability. That just really put me off. But in the end, I did enjoy reading this, and I kind of want to pick up the sequel. It's either the sequel or the companion, this book, so hopefully I can do that soon. And that's my February wrap up. Thanks for clicking on this video and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite or least favorite book was in February. Let's talk in the comments. And if you don't have an answer or don't have the spoons for a lengthy comment, you can just leave a book emoji. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. It really helps me out when you do so. And if you would like to support me further, I have a Patreon. Thank you to my top patrons for their continuous support. And like I've already said in the video, there's a ton of Patreon content that I created in February, so I will have the link down below. I would love for you to join us. This month for my top patrons, I'm reading Of Hockey and Hijab by Shima Khan. This is an essay collection following a Canadian hockey mom. I'm so excited for this. If you'd like to watch more, I'll have my last video here and you can subscribe there. I hope you're all taking care of yourself and I hope to see you in my next video very soon. Bye.